Actually, did someone videotape this to Kathy? Mountain Mara? She left.
Mara. Just left.
All right. Is anyone videotaping it?
I'm videotaping it.
Mark.
Camera's right there.
Gotta work the room.
There's a camera there.
Well,
Okay. First, want everyone to know, I didn't go up to Sonia and say, I did my time all these years, I expect the party, I deserve it, and I want you to organize it. I think that should be your delegated responsibility. I remember you when I got here, and I expect this. It's nothing like that. Okay? Maybe a lot of you thought that, but she actually told me last year that Chris and I deserved the party. It didn't come about last year. I came back in November to do some procession work, and she said, you guys really deserve a party. Oh, after all, it's time now. I said, okay, and she just volunteered to organize this. Everything was just willingly. I didn't ask her to do anything, so she really deserved it. Okay, and I remember actually my very first day at Newtown, September 1991, we did have group work in the department, not with our students. I don't know if Ms. John remembers, September 1991, we had 4 days of, the kids didn't come in until a week after Labor Day. The teachers were in for 4 days, so we actually, in our department, worked in groups. And I still remember Sonia was in my group. She probably doesn't remember, but I forgot what we were working on, but we were working on something. Okay, so we did that. Okay, anyway, let's start the lesson now. I'm going to start with a higher order thinking question. Okay? It's a higher order, well, not really, I didn't bring my lesson plan, so. But it's a higher order thinking question. It's going to be tied to Common Core math practice number 1. You have to make sense of the problem and persevere in solving it. Okay? And after I ask it, it's high level. I don't know if all of you are up to it. There will be a share out, and I will be using the data from the share out to regroup you guys. So if you're sitting with your friends, that's not always the best thing. Okay? You will just have a few seconds, you'll discuss it amongst yourself, and maybe each table will come up with the answer. So here's the higher order thinking question. How many retirees does it take to change a light bulb? So you're working, you're thinking, you're discussing, you're supposed to be discussing it with your group members.
If you retire,
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
if you retire, you can call somebody in to do it.
Yes, that's right.
Wasn't what I was thinking of. No, sometimes you could spare the time. It only takes one retiree to change a light bulb, but it takes the whole day. This is a higher order thinking question, so I expect we won't have time to discuss why, even though that's what we should be doing. That's your homework assignment. You're to put it into your Common Core portfolios. Maybe you could discuss it as a group and put it in, because you should think about why that's true. But we don't have time, so this was just a mini lesson. So yes, as Janisha kind of hinted on it, I wish Kathy Mara was here. I started in September 1984, and she was in my new teacher class. She was a new teacher at the time also. Now, unlike me, Kathy moved on. She went on to aristocracy with all the glamour that goes with it, and I remained a peasant. But there's no class envy. It's okay. So I remained a peasant. She moved on. Okay, it's all right. And back then, I still remember if a kid dared use a calculator on a test, that was cheating. It invalidated the test. Math, you don't use a calculator. You know, that's what it's about. That's what it was when I went to school. Okay, so fast forward, I got to Newtown. I was told by John that 60% of our students in the math department were in what were called general classes. We even had a pre-fundamental class. I still remember my first, it was called MA1R, which was remedial class non-credit. And I remember the first day was how do we add a column of whole numbers, okay? And not with decimal points. And this was without a calculator. And so then I had kids running up to me. I was just new to Newtown. This is too easy. You know, so I said, should they be transferred? I don't know. I went to the AP after this was new. But then, because in the other schools we had MS. We didn't have a pre-MS like this. But then once we got to subtraction, forget it. It threw a lot of them off. And then when I got to long division, I had a student who came up to me and he said, thank you for teaching me long division. No other teacher taught me how to divide before. Okay, and that's how it was back then. And then the kid went to jail and he came back. I saw him 2 years later. I said, what happened? He said, I was incarcerated. I said, what did you do? And he said, armed robbery. I said, well, do you regret what you did? He said, of course I do. I just get into these moods, you know, what can I say? That is a true story. So fast forward, they got rid of these courses. NCI, as was mentioned before, MF. And everyone went into algebra. I guess they called it MQ1. And then later on, calculators, scientific graphing, the smart boards came. September 2003 came the workshop model, the regions, and differentiated instruction, and all this stuff came. And then it was a matter of teaching an old dog new tricks, and Janisha told you about how that was for me. You know, back when I started, no, there should be silence in your room from bell to bell. You know, you're the teacher, unless the kid raises his hand, sit them in rows. You kept the seating chart till the end. You know, now after that higher order thinking question, I apologize for the higher order thinking question. I thought it was too high a level, even differentiating the best and brightest of you couldn't get it. I went above your heads. I mean, that's what the Common Core seems to require of us. It's really tough stuff, and I apologize for that. But I know that a lot of you who are still teaching, you really do get into the Common Core lesson planning. You do enjoy making up those Common Core exams, the Common Core portfolios and projects, and I think that's great. You've adjusted, you enjoy it, you look forward to it, and you're doing great things for the kids by doing that. That's great. And the administrators who are here, I know you love guiding the teachers through the Common Core. You love the walkthroughs. You love the writing up the observations. You wish you'd like to do more, and that's great. I think it's really great that you do that. I mean, it really helps the education at Newtown tremendously, and we should be grateful for that. But I have a hunch there might be one or two people here. It could be a teacher, it could be an administrator who's thinking, no, there are nights I'm tired, I feel like chilling out. I'm not really into this Common Core every day in and day out. I'm tired, it's just too much, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what the next thing that they're going to reinvent is. I can't. Well, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If there's one or two people here thinking that, probably not most of you, eventually it'll come, and it's good. And I'm really grateful for Janisha, Kathy, John. I always felt comfortable going into your, and Nancy, yeah, you weren't in the department. Yeah, always felt comfortable going into your office and bugging you and asking you questions and discussing things with you. So I'm glad I always have that comfort, and the colleagues and everyone else. Thank you, and on to other things.
Very good.